Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ritesh. Thank you. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschad Deshatarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Okay, so as always we'll continue with our prayer, which is the beautiful Shri Govinda Damodar Stotram. Let me share the screen and then I'll sing today. Okay, these verses 51 to 60. त्वामेव याचे मम देहि जिह्वे समागते दण्डधरे कृतान्ते वक्तव्यमेवं मधुरं सुभक्त्या गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति भजस्व मन्त्रं भवबन्धमुक्त्यै जिह्वे रसज्ञे सुलभं मनोज्ञम् द्वैपायनाद्यैर्मुनिभिः प्रजप्तं गोविन्ददामोदरमाधवेति गोपालवंशीधररूपसिन्धो लोकेश नारायणदीनबन्धु उच्चस्वरैस्त्वं वद सर्वदैव गोविन्ददामोदरमाधवेति जिह्वे सदैव भज सुन्दराणि नामानि कृष्णस्य मनोहराणि समस्तभक्तार्तिविनश्यनानि गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द गोविन्द हरे मुरारे गोविन्द गोविन्द मुकुन्द कृष्ण गोविन्द गोविन्द रथाङ्गपाणे गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति सुखावसाने त्विदमेव सारं दुःखावसाने त्विदमेव गेयं देहावसाने त्विदमेव जाप्यं गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति दुर्वारवाक्यं परिगृह्य कृष्णा मृगीव भीता तु कथं कथाञ्चित् सभां प्रविष्टा मनसा जुहावा गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति श्रीकृष्ण राधा वरगोकुलेश गोपाल गोवर्धननाथ विष्णु जिह्वे पिबस्वामृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति श्रीनाथ विश्वेश्वर विश्वमूर्ते श्रीदेवकी नन्दन दैत्यशत्रु जिह्वा
Can't hear you, Prabhuji.
देव जिह्वे पिबस्वामृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति हरे कृष्णा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Govinda Damodar Stotram ki jai, Shri Bilwa Mangal Thakur ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, we can read the translations. Anybody would like to read this morning?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhupada ki jai. O my tongue, I ask only this, that upon my meeting the bearer of the scepter of chastisement, Yamaraja, you will utter this sweet phrase with great devotion, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. O my tongue, O knower of rasa, for release from the hellish bondage of material existence, just worship the charming and easily obtained mantra that is chanted by Vedavyasa and other sages, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. You should always and everywhere loudly chant Gopala, Vamshidhara, O ocean of beauty, Lord of the worlds, Narayana, O friend of the poor, Govinda, Damodara and Madhava. O my tongue, always worship these beautiful enchanting names of Krishna, Govinda, Damodara and Madhava, which destroy all the obstacles of the devotees. O Govinda, Govinda, Hari, Murari, O Govinda, Govinda, Mukunda, Krishna, O Govinda, Govinda, O holder of the chariot wheel, O Govinda, O Damodara, O Madhava. Indeed, this is the essence found upon ceasing the affairs of mundane happiness, and this too is to be sung after the cessation of all sufferings. This alone is to be chanted at the time of death of one's material body, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Somehow or other, accepting the unavoidable command of Dushasana, Draupadi, like a frightened doe, entered the assembly of princes and within her mind cried out to the Lord, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. O tongue, drink only these nectarian names, Sri Krishna, dearmost of Sri Radha, Lord of Gokula, Gopala, Lord of Govardhana, Vishnu, Govinda, Damodara and Madhava. Srinatha, Lord of the universe, form of the universe, beautiful son of Devaki, O enemy of the demons, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava, O my tongue, just drink this nectar. Lord of the gopis, enemy of Kamsa, Mukunda, husband of Lakshmi Devi, Keshava, son of Vasudeva, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava, O my tongue, just drink this nectar. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, such a wonderful prayer, Shri Mangal Thakur. Addressing our tongue to always drink this nectar of the holy names. Just like even in Shikshashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Oh Lord, you have unlimited names, right? Like Krishna and Govinda. So similarly, when we sing this bhajan, it reminds us that Krishna has unlimited names, and in each of these names, he has bestowed his unlimited potencies. But it is just that we are unfortunate that we have no taste. But we can develop this taste by chanting the holy names. That's what Radheshyam Prabhu was saying. We get the power to chant and we get the taste to chant by chanting and by actually reciting these prayers. So may the mercy of the Acharyas flow, and with their mercy we can continue to develop more and more power and more taste to chant more. So just like Srila Prabhupada has been teaching his disciples. So let's flip over to Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrit. Continuing from chapter 23, yesterday we saw Prabhupada is teaching a very nice principles we saw yesterday about service and separation. How Srila Prabhupada was teaching his disciples in New York the process of service and separation, and some very powerful instructions Srila Prabhupada shared that Krishna will give you strength, right? Physical presence is immaterial. The presence of the transcendental sound received from the spiritual master should be the guidance of our life, and that will make our life perfect in spiritual advancement. So he taught them about service and separation, which is the highest form of service that, like the gopis did, like Srimati Radharani did when Krishna left Vrindavan. So in that same mood, Srila Prabhupada is teaching these disciples the service and separation, and they are actually starting to feel like Brahmananda Prabhu is saying that chanting is the focal point. If they chant, if they do kirtan, everything is successful, like Prabhupada said, and they're able to realize Prabhupada's presence through his instructions, through his Vani. And Prabhupada is also reciprocating by sending them letters. So that was very nice. And they were doing Ishtagoshti, which is the discussion on the instructions of spiritual master. So that should be done. Like we have Prabhupada's calendar. Every day we flip, we read one instruction. Similarly, we should think what that instruction means to us every day. And also Prabhupada was not just teaching them bhakti, but he was also a Bengali businessman as he was. So he was also teaching them the practical aspects of how to deal with the worldly affairs. So in terms of how they're dealing with Mr. Price, who was trying to somehow talk to them in pleasing words, but how far that is true, we'll see, because Prabhupada is already starting to feel that it is not right, the transactions that they have been doing with him. So we'll continue from this paragraph here. Anybody would like to read today?
I would like to read, Prabhuji, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure, Mataji, please.
Thank you.
From Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah. Srila Prabhupada had also instructed Gargamuni to protect the $10,000 in the bank and never withdraw any sum that would leave a balance of less than 6,000. Prabhupada had left one account for which the devotees were the signers, but he also had an account for which he controlled the funds. He now asked the devotees to put $6,000 from that account into his. He wrote Brahmananda, "This $6,000 will be transferred forthwith by me as soon as there is a sale contract for purchase of the house." On February 10th, Prabhupada wrote to Kirtanananda, "Regarding the house, I was correct in my remarks that there was no definite understanding. In such negotiation, everything is done in black and white. Nothing is being done in black and white, but everything is being done with faith on Mr. Price. Let this understanding be completed within the first week, 1st of March 1967, and close the chapter. I think this is my last word in this connection. You are all grown-up boys, and you use your discretion, and you can now complete the transaction without prolonging it indefinitely. If, however, we are not able to purchase a house, it does not mean closing our activity at 26 Second Avenue. So there is no question of packing up and coming to San Francisco." So what is Prabhupada SF? Is
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Then on February 15th, Prabhupada wrote Satsvarupa. "So far, I can see from the correspondence of Brahmananda, it is not possible for us to get the house for so many reasons. The main reason is that we have no money to pay cash, and nobody is going to invest cash in that house because it is neither complete nor has any income. It is simply utopian to think of possessing the house, and Mr. Price is simply giving us false hope. You're all innocent boys without any experience of the world. The cunning world can befoot you at any time. So please be careful of the world in Krishna consciousness. When Krishna will desire, the house will come to us automatically." Can you scroll, Prabhuji? Yeah. Srila Prabhupada's doubts were confirmed when Mr. Price wrote to him asking for money. If Mr. Price had so much money, Prabhupada reasoned, why was Mr. Price asking him for money? On February 17, Srila Prabhupada wrote to Mr. Price to impress upon him that there would have to be a sale contract before ISKCON could actually purchase the building. If there is sale contract, my students here and in New York will be able to raise the funds very seriously. In the absence of any sale contract, everything appears to be in the air, and Mr. Tyler or his lawyer can change his word as he has already done. Srila Prabhupada's message was clear. Brahmananda, however, complained of poor communications. Things were always changing. And Brahmananda wasn't always able to get Swamiji's confirmation on the latest changes. Swamiji would write his instructions in a letter, and although the devotees had to obey whatever he said, the circumstances would often have changed by the time they received the letter. Swamiji would also sometimes change his opinion when he heard new information. Sometimes Brahmananda would call San Francisco and Swamiji wouldn't be available. Brahmananda didn't feel right about sending messages through the devotees in San Francisco because he knew that the devotees were very skeptical about the whole transaction. If New York got the building, San Francisco would have to donate $1,000. And the devotees in San Francisco, of course, had their own plans for how to spend money for Krishna. Mr. Price suggested to the devotees in New York that maybe the Swami didn't understand American business dealings. With all respect, His Excellency couldn't be expected to know all the intricacies of finance in a foreign country, and His Excellency's request for a purchase contract was, as Mr. Price put it, something that went out with hoop skirts. Brahmananda and Swatsvarupa didn't know how to reply. The remark seemed like blasphemy, but Brahmananda and Satsvarupa were already entangled in the promises Mr. Price had given and went on meeting with him. They would meet with Mr. Price and then ride back to Second Avenue on the subway chanting Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada wrote almost daily to various devotees in New York. On February 18th, he wrote a letter to Brahmananda with the word confidential typed at the top of the page. Now, if you think he is able to secure money for us, if you think that there is something hopeful by this time, then you can continue the negotiation as he is doing. But do not, for Krishna's sake, advance a farthing more on any plea by him. He may be trying his best, but he is not capable to do this. That is my honest opinion. Shall I read Prabhuji more?
Yes, Mataji.
While trying to avoid further losses in New York, Prabhupada continued his active preaching in San Francisco. Mukunda and others were lining up lots of engagements, and the reception was often enthusiastic. In the same confidential letter to Brahmananda, in which Prabhupada put forward his strategies for negotiating with Mr. Price and company, he also wrote glowingly of grand, successful meetings of various Bay Area colleges. The meetings were similar, he said, to the wonderful Kirtanas in Tompkins Square Park. This was the way to spread Krishna consciousness, not by becoming entangled with treacherous real estate agencies. I'm enclosing here with a copy of the letter received from Himalayan Academy. See how they are appreciating our method of peace movement. So in this way, we have to forward our cause. No businessman will come forward to help us on Ethiopian schemes as contemplated by Mr. Price. We have to try for ourselves. So the summary is to obtain a hire purchase sale contract from Mr. Tyler and popularize our movement by outdoor engagements as many as possible. Srila Prabhupada had done what he could. The boys were foolish even to the point of not listening to him, but they had raised the money themselves. If despite his instruction they lost it, what further help could he give? So he simply went on with his San Francisco preaching and advised the boys in New York also to become convinced of achieving success through Kirtana. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, you can continue Mataji until 6:25.
Okay. New Jagannath Puri. Srila Prabhupada put on a sweater over his turtleneck jersey, wrapped his chadar around his shoulders, and left his apartment, accompanied by a few disciples. The weather was beautiful, and the blue, cloudless sky reminded him of India. An hour before, he had sent devotees ahead to start a kirtana, and now one of the girls had come running back to him, excitedly knocking on his door and announcing, Swamiji, there are so many people. The clay mrudangas he had ordered many months ago from Calcutta had recently arrived. Today would be one of the first times he could play a genuine clay mrudanga in America. The boys and girls would like it. He had arranged for the drums to be wrapped in cloth and had cautioned the boys to be careful because the clay drums broke easily. The walk to the park was short, and as usual, Prabhupada walked faster than his young followers. They walked down Frederick Street to Stanton, where they turned the corner of the donut shop, frequented by the Hells Angels and still sometimes visited to certain devotees. On Stanton, they hurried past the parking lot of Kaiser Stadium, the stadium itself looming beyond. At the Wallen Street intersection, Prabhupada continued his rapid stride without stopping or even bothering to look at the light. One of the boys caught his arm. Wait, Swamiji, the light. But Prabhupada darted across the street. As they continued down Stanton towards Haight Street, the park appeared on the right. They entered walking past a duck pond with a fountain and a willow tree on its center island. They walked past tall redwoods and eucalyptus trees which lent fragrance to the surrounding area. There were also maple, oak, and ash trees and flowering shrubs like hazelies. Prabhupada said that the park resembled parks in Mumbai, Bombay, and that the city was like a holy place because it was named after St. Francis. They entered a 50-foot long tunnel with artificial stalactites hanging from the ceiling and came out into a path heavily shaded by trees on either side. Just ahead was the meadow, covered with tiny daisies and clover and encircled by redwood and eucalyptus trees. Prabhupada could hear the chanting, the kartalas, and the booming of the timpani. As he entered the meadow, he saw a sloping hill dotted with hundreds of young people sitting, lying, lounging, smoking, throwing frisbees, or walking around. And in the meadow, below the hill, was his kirtana. The meadow was a popular place. People walked through it on the way to the zoo or the tennis courts, but today many passers-by had stopped and were listening in a group. About 200 feet from the Kirtana, closer in about 50 feet from the Kirtana, was another group listening more intently. And then there was the Kirtana party itself, Prabhupada's disciples and dozens of NGPs sitting tightly together and chanting, and others were standing nearby, clapping and swaying to the rhythm of the drum and kartals. Flags decorated the Kirtana area. They're 3 feet by 4 feet. They had been made by devotees, and each bore the symbol of a different religion. A bright red flag with a yellow star and the crescent moon of Islam flew from a 10-foot bamboo pole stuck into the earth. Beside it waved a pale blue flag with a dark blue star of David in the center, and beside that yellow flag bore the Sanskrit Omkara. Prabhupada's disciples with their long hair and casual clothes were indistinguishable from the other young dancers and singers except for the strands of large red chanting beads around their necks. Some of the devotees danced with arms upraised against the background of uninterrupted blue sky. Others played instruments, the kartalas and the timpani were there. Hayagriva had brought his cornet, and there were other instruments brought by devotees and hippies. Little children were taking part. Even a stray dog pranced in the innermost circle of the Kirtana party. On Sundays, the meadow beneath Hippie Hill was always an open show, and today the Kirtana was the featured attraction. Prabhupada joined the Kirtana, walking up suddenly to the surprise and delight of the devotees. He sat down and began playing the mridanga and leading the singing in a loud voice. Mukunda. Although we had heard Swamiji play different drums before and some of us had played along with him, when he played the clay mridanga from India, it was a completely different feeling. The feeling is created was akin to seeing an old friend after many, many years. It was so right and so natural. It was the very thing of Kirtanas had been missing. And it increased our feelings of ecstasy many times over. Obviously, Swamiji was in greater ecstasy than ever. You could sense by the way he had the drum, but the ease with which he brought out its intricate rhythms to control the Kirtana, that this drum was like a long lost friend to him. Swamiji playing that drum was the talk of the community. Now we knew what Kirtana really was, how it was supposed to sound, what it was really like. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Mataji. Reading. Yes, Mataji. Anything that you liked from today's reading? You'd
Yes,
like to share?
Prabhuji, I liked the one that Mrudanga that is our orthodoxic and thing that Prabhuji, Swamiji, I mean Prabhupada brought to them. So it changed the whole environment and ambience of the Kirtana, where the people and the hippies were more interested and enthralled by this musical thing, and how he was very confident in bringing the movement into existence, and how he was guiding them at the same time, how he wanted the temple movements to be going on, and how he had to deal with the people where they were able to cheat these people like Brahmananda and Satsvarupa, and how Prabhupada used to give his suggestions in the right time at the right place. So that was very, very nice for me to read, Prabhuji, how even we have to learn how we have to deal with the outer world, and how we have to accomplish our Krishna conscious movement further, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me the chance. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for your very nice thoughts, reflections. Yes. Yeah, it is like you said, this the Mridanga, like Mukunda Prabhu was saying here, that it was like a long lost friend, right? It's almost like, as we say, the kids who are taking the Mridanga classes, they learn that Mridanga is not different from Balram Prabhu, right? So it's Balramji actually. Just like books of Brihad Mridanga, is the manifestation of Lord Balaram. So yeah, we should offer our reverence and before we start playing the Mridanga. So here we see it's almost like Balaramji is coming all the way from India to be with his close friend Srila Prabhupada as a devotee, as a close friend of Shri Balaram and Krishna. So they are blessing him finally with their presence. And the teachings that you mentioned about how to deal with situations. I mean, of course, we saw this is like the beginning, right? And then we know the history, what happened, like even in the case with Juhu Temple, how Prabhupada had to deal with all these difficulties in getting the land, and after getting the land, with the kind of the political elements, and then the gundas and all of that. And I mean, this has kind of been the theme in many ISKCON temples. I remember even in Shri Radha Parthasarathi temple, also in Delhi, we had similar challenges dealing with thugs and thieves, and even the government officials. So it was not easy to establish any of these temples straightforward. So it has always taken some kind of blessings and mercy of the Lord to flow, but it is also there's a reason why, again, Srila Prabhupada is teaching them, and we see, like, he has been kind of warning them, guiding them, but still they decided to follow their own intuition versus following Srila Prabhupada's instructions. And that is where we see, like, these empowered acharyas, they can see the future, they know the dealings. And again, with reading many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples' journey over the last 5 decades, actually it was reminding me even of as long as Gopal Krishna Maharaj was mentioning something similar to devotees in Delhi. There was one person who came, and he was trying to say that I will help you, monetarily, and then it was something to do with visas also. I think he's saying I'll help with the passport and this, then that, and then Maharaj could actually see that he was cheating them. So he warned the disciples not to give him any further assistance or money, but still they went and did it, and then finally they were cheated. So, and then similar, another example was where they were somebody was saying something like, I'll give a lot of monetary contributions for building the temple, blah blah blah, and then again, but he said initially, and then after 3-4 months passed, nothing was happening. But some, like Mohan Rupa Prabhu was sharing this. He is the temple president of ISKCON Delhi. That he was still kind of pursuing and persisting with that idea, and then finally he mentioned this to Maharaj, and then Maharaj said, "You bring him to me." And then so he finally was able to convince that person to come in front of Maharaj. And just in looking at him, it's like just how Prabhupada saw through the soul. And they could just, like, there are all these siddhis. That's why we say with bhakti, liberation as mukti is standing at the doorstep, folding hands. And all these siddhis are already there. They're all just kind of tiny embellishments. But again, devotees, pure devotees, they don't use these unnecessarily, or they don't boast about what they have. They just try to use everything in the service of the Lord. So Prabhupada could see everything, just being, even not even seeing Mr. Price. He was just in San Francisco, and still, he could know what's going on. Right? Krishna was giving him that intuition. Like we say, anima, anima, lagima, all these, you can become sukshma, more subtle than a mind, and you can enter into somebody's mind. Right? That's the power that an empowered devotee has. But again, he doesn't use it for his own self, but rather uses it in Krishna's service. So Prabhupada was giving them those hints, but still they kind of pursued. But at the end of the day, anyway, it was kind of a learning, and Prabhupada knew at what point to exactly stop them. But yeah, it is amazing to read all these pastimes and able to tie them to what we have learned from Srila Prabhupada's disciples. Yes, thank you, Mataji. All right, anybody else would like to share anything? Yeah, the only other thing I was thinking also, like we were talking about Shabari's example yesterday, and how Anand Krishna Maharaj was saying in the class, in the lecture, that just as her spiritual master, Matanga Muni, he called her, he addressed us as Beti, right? So he, like an acharya treats his disciples, his lady disciples, as their daughters. So, and how she followed the instructions of her guru, right? One pointed focus, and she just followed what her Guru Maharaj told her, that you can continue to serve. And like Anand Krishna Maharaj was saying, that the Lord comes more than yadayadai dharmasya, more than to kill the demons and establish religions. It is really to please his devotees. That is the main reason the Lord comes, like Maharaj was saying. So the purpose of Lord Sri Ram to visit the forest was not to kill Ravan. Of course, those were side effects, but the primary reason was to give darshan to Shabari. And how she was just with one pointed attention following the instruction of her guru. After he left the body, right, he went back to transcendental world, but he gave her this instruction, and every single day she was just following his instructions. So, and that was similar mood of service in separation from her guru as well as from the Lord. But then the Lord comes, like Maharaj was saying, the Lord comes because he sees, he wants to increase the pleasure of his devotees. And then also he was saying how he wants to glorify his devotees, right? Like that whole lake that was polluted by insects and worms and dirty, was, Lord says to those rishis that you bring the dust of the lotus feet of Shabri and put it in this lake. And they were surprised that she was an untouchable, and what is Lord telling? Right? But that is the power of the dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees, and then that lake gets completely purified. So the Lord wants to increase the glory of his pure devotees. So similarly, here we see, what he did for Srila Prabhupada, and how Prabhupada is teaching his disciples how to develop that mode of service and separation. So, okay, so those were some thoughts from today. Any other closing comments? Anybody else would like to share anything? All right. If not, then we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much, as always, for your wonderful association, thoughts, reflections, and participation in this Sankirtan Yagya of Japa, and our humble reading, even though it is 10-15 minutes every day, but small habits hopefully can make a new path for us, just like a drop of water falling every single day on the rock can make a way. So that's what we are just trying to do, following in the footsteps of our acharyas, like Mother Shabari, who used to do this every single day for the pleasure of the Lord. So with that, we'll conclude with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, प्रभुपाद लीलामृत की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे
Thank
कृष्णा.
you, Prabhuji. Have a great day, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.